let's get hot button again real quick. I wanted to talk to you about your mom for a second. She was a school district nurse, correct?
Yep.
That is a role that could not be more front and center when we are talking locally, at least in people's neighborhoods, to everyone in the United States right now. Does she have an opinion about everything going back to school, that the fact that we're putting our children in these situations? I mean, she would be the person working pretty much 24 hours a day right now, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not. Let me put it this way. My mom has not really been in close contact with any of her grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
She will have an outdoor picnic socially distanced, and normally she, sees and hangs out and helps with childcare, I don't know, anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week. And ever since this started, I remember calling her saying, you need to stop that.
Yeah.
Like immediately. And she was like, no. I was like, no, Mom, listen, like, we had a pulmonologist from Denver come and talk to us while we were at the training camp. And basically he said, hey, listen, based off of our knowledge, and this is way back in February. So
Sure.
Based off of our knowledge right now, anybody over 65 that gets this disease, it's literally like playing Russian roulette with a revolver, and having one bullet in the chamber.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that put it into perspective for me. So, a 17% chance of dying, like you wouldn't play Russian roulette, right? Like you would do everything in your power to not have to do that. So my mom and my dad are doing essentially that until, a vaccine or the numbers go down. And to your point, she's not in support of going back to school. She also lives in Washington State. They've handled the virus pretty well, and are pretty conservative with the handling of public health.
We've been telling people, because my wife and I have a 1-year-old, and we're so lucky that we don't have to make that decision right now, that whether school or not, and we're not in the situation to make that, because some people, both of us work at sometimes, like it would be impossible to take care of him, all day long for another 5-6 months. And we would have to, that's where we would, we are not letting him out. But your mom probably took her job very serious, and it would be a very hard decision for any of these teachers or these nurses that know they have a job that they love and a responsibility that they love to not go or go. What a difficult decision for them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. You don't go into teaching or school nursing because you're going to get rich, right? You go into teaching or school nursing because you love kids, you love what's happening at the school, and you want to help the generation beyond your own. Yeah. And again, it comes down so much to, what's happening at your community level. Like I live in my little bubble in Oakland. Mm-hmm. Alameda County has, I think, 1.6 million people. Like we do have, we have days where we have 400, 500, 600 cases. So yeah, no, I don't necessarily think that we should be going back to school. But if you're in, Wyoming, Montana, it's in a rural district and you haven't had cases for 2 weeks, like, of course you need to go back to school. I'm not trying to suggest that, people shouldn't go back to school the entire year or whatever. It really just has to be managed and managed closely, because it's very stressful and dangerous to sit and wait for test results for a week and wonder if you may have gotten it.
Yeah, it's insane. I know there's some billionaire I was reading about yesterday who is looking into creating outdoor schools.
I love that idea. Yeah. Let's talk about this. So you have a 1-year-old. Mm-hmm. If you were forced to have and imagine he's, let's call it 7, 8 years old, would you send your kid back to school?
No.
Or would you consider, and what some of my friends are, more than one of my friends are doing, is essentially like taking extra jobs, or, if they were furloughed or on reduced or whatever it may be, basically being an education coordinator for these kids that are learning from home.
Yeah, I'd have to. We, like I said, we're just lucky we don't have to make that decision. But like if I was in that position, I could not send him to school. I had a child so that I could worry all day, right? I already feel that nerves. I'm not throwing him out to the wolves. So I would have to come up with something. You're right. I'd become a bit of a professor myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not something I have to face, luckily, and I feel bad for those who do. You obviously have a bit of a decision coming up with Tokyo 2021. There's a bit of an Olympic bubble joke, right? There's like a meme with this village where all you guys stay, and there's been jokes for years about how STDs and sicknesses go around it, and it's sort of a bubble. And it's funny because now we rely on these bubbles for Tokyo 2021. You know, we rely on them to make it work. So you tell me, is it going to be safe? You've been there. Can it be healthy?
I do believe it can be safe, and I do believe it can be healthy. You know what's crazy is in every lead up to every Olympic Games, there's a story that goes around, right? And 2016 it was Zika, 2012 it was security, the 2008 I honestly I can't remember. I was too young, but there's like a reason why these games are going to be catastrophic. And here's Japan finishing all of their infrastructure like months in advance, which is totally unheard of. And then the actual global pandemic, the one thing that isn't up to them at all, occurs and delays the game, which is just so unfortunate. I really, truly feel for, Tokyo 2020 and all those organizers. But that being said, I mean, it is going to be an amazing opportunity for Japan to create and execute on a bubble and a safe and effective Olympic Games. I think they can do it. I mean, I trust them to do that.
Yeah, well, I guess all of sports is having this kind of issue, and like we said, you're a bit of a football fan, but specifically, I think you are a Seahawks super fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Known for their incredible fans, the noise that they make in the stadium. Could you imagine? This is the one I think about all the time. A empty, quiet CenturyLink. Like I can't even fathom without the 12th man. It seems crazy.
It is crazy, but all of this is crazy, man. I have seen the practice facility and seen what those guys like, getting up and getting after it at practice, and there's no noise happening at Kirkland or wherever it is. And it is, I don't know. I believe in Coach Carroll's fostering of that competitive nature, of that competitive spirit. Obviously, the 12th man makes a huge difference. Yeah. It's absolutely unbelievable to be there and be talking and not even be able to hear your own voice. It's it's something special. But it obviously is not going to happen this year. I just really hope I hope they figure out a way to execute on a successful season.